little bit of rough news to start off today, and that is the fact that Microsoft has closed Bethesda France. Now, you might be wondering, Bethesda France? What's that all about? Well, I'm here to explain it a little bit, and, I get that people are going to say that it's, doom and gloom, or it's this or it's that, but to be honest with you, I don't think anybody ever really wants these companies to close down or anything like that. But sometimes there is redundancy, and sometimes it makes a little bit more sense. This is actually kind of breaking news, so hold on to your butts, and thank you guys for joining me. Go ahead and leave a like if you haven't already, and, slap that like button, and maybe hit that subscribe button while you're at it as well. Much appreciated. So over here, according to Google Translate, it says, Bethesda France, it's over. You probably saw it happening today, but it's over at the offices in France, and that also applies to the Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout games, among others. So I'm going to use this tweet to say my public goodbyes to people without whom I wouldn't be where I am right now. As for the Elder Scrolls Online, in 10 years, I have known all the CMs. I went to all the premises countless times and met some really kind people and had some unique moments for a killer gamer like me. Today I feel very sorry for them, even if I imagine that most of them will bounce back, especially when you see the way they are. It goes on to really kind of mention some of them and things like that. Like I said, I don't ever really think that it's a great thing when people lose their jobs and things like that. I think that it sucks. It's super unfortunate. It says some suspected it. We couldn't say anything at the moment, but Bethesda France is no more. It seems, in fact, that Microsoft simply decided to stop everything 2 months ago at the dawn of the series release under more questionable conditions. So, again, I think that it is one of those weird things where you have a situation where these people are just kind of, one day they have a job or whatever, and then the next day they don't, they just stop everything. It also makes me question, why are we only just hearing about this now, in terms of, month later, or 2 months later, if they stopped everything that was kind of going on. So, it's unfortunate, but looking into what these guys actually handled and things like that, I think that's where a little bit it comes more into play as to why we would have this happen in the first place. So, it's always super unfortunate. And listen, I get it, man. Microsoft is this big trillions and trillions dollar company. So it sucks when this kind of stuff does happen. But at the end of the day, it is business. And, I feel like that business is something that Microsoft will continue to kind of adjust depending on what's going on around the gaming landscape, So personally, I think this kind of sucks or whatever. It's not a great look for them. In particular, I feel like we have multiple situations where they probably could have done a little bit better and things like that, but they ended up, not really doing that. So that's really, really unfortunate to say the least. But this was a subsidiary that they had in France. They dealt with a lot with publishing and marketing, localizations, and different things like that. So I guess Microsoft is going to handle localization and marketing in Europe themselves, or they're not going to have any marketing since they have no. This is like Europe, where you have to remember that in Europe, Xbox has zero presence there, right? It's super unfortunate, but that's just the God's honest truth. They have zero presence in Europe. They have, flagging sales in Europe, not really doing great at all over there. So maybe they don't want any marketing or anything to do with the areas over there. So, it's hard to say, but, it is unfortunate that this happens. And I think that people are going to obviously probably run with this, and it's not a great look on them. That should be something that people should really kind of look at it. So it looks like a little bit of a consolidation on the part of Microsoft's buyout and the layoffs within the Xbox division. this doesn't really indicate any danger for the rest of Bethesda or anything like that. Publishing a thing that existed just to help Arcane or whatever, like this was like probably, cost cutting in a way or whatever. Shut down actually 2 months ago, and as part of the mass layoffs from the beginning of the year. So yeah, not great. Just kind of is what it is at this particular point. I really do feel like Microsoft picks these things and then wonders why they come back to bite them in the butt later on. To me, this is why. Like, this is the type of stuff that happens or whatever. And maybe people knew this. Like, I don't know if people absolutely knew about this before or not, but this is just like one of those things. Like, I can remember when the Toys for Bob thing happened, right? It was announced that they were going to have layoffs there, and then, that they were going to be working from home instead of the studio, and people really kind of flipped out about that, right? And then, like, weeks later, it was news again, and people were like, oh, how can this happen? It's like, it was the same story. So I get that this is probably the same overarching story of kind of what was happening there. Like, this is maybe a little bit of redundancy there. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, Microsoft is resilient, and they will kind of land, I guess, where they're going to land. And, at the end of the day, Microsoft is going to do what they're going to do best for what they deem best for their business. And, at the same time, I feel like we're going to see people kind of come around and come and go. And there's probably going to be a lot of changes going on at Xbox and things. So, I hope that they can get their act together. It's always rough when people do lose their jobs in the industry. It just seems like the industry, what I don't understand about the industry, and I've mentioned this multiple times, it makes more money than it ever has. It makes more money than the entertainment business, right? The music, movie, television, it makes more money than all that stuff, and yet we've had thousands and thousands and thousands of people laid off from work. Like, so I don't understand the thought process behind that, or what, anybody can do to really change that, to be honest with you. So, I don't really know. We'll see what happens. I really, really hope that Microsoft gets their act together, though. Like, this is the type of stuff maybe that you want to get out in front of, in my opinion, before, like, it makes big news stories and things like that. So, anyway, much appreciated for watching my video. If you enjoy my content, please leave a like. I would appreciate that. And as always, I hope you guys all have a great day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, and crap gamer 'em up. Thanks for watching. Crap Gamer out.